Are you feeling stuck in your job or your career and you want to make a change, but let's face it, it's tough. It's hard to make a change, especially as you get older, as it gets later in life. If you've been in the same position for a while, the same role for a while, it's tough. One of the reasons it's so tough to change is because as people, as humans, we tie a large portion of our identity to our job, to the way that we bring in an income, to the way that we earn a living, way that we spend a significant chunk of time in our lives. So when we're in a role for a while, that becomes a part of our identity. That becomes a part of who we are and how we see ourselves. So when we're thinking about changing jobs or changing careers, especially changing like big time careers, like a full on shift, we have to relinquish a part of our identity, which can be uncomfortable. But unless we are willing to relinquish certain aspects of our identity and step into our new version of ourselves that we want to be, then it's going to be a lot harder to make those lasting changes in a meaningful way. There's just going to be this resistance because our identity is aligned with our old version of ourselves. Tony Robbins talks about this a fair bit, about how our identity is the main driving force for our actions. Who we say we are is usually congruent with our actions. The people that we think we are is often congruent. Well, not always the case. Like sometimes people have very different ideas of who they are in their own mind versus how they portray themselves. But in general, most people try to stay congruent with their own version of themselves. Now, in his book Atomic Habits, right here, James Clear gives an example of the power of shifting your identity when it comes to changing your habits. So, for example, he gives the example of a smoker. So, someone who's been smoking for years and years, they identify as a smoker, and then they decide they want to quit. So, two different people, both been smoking same amount of time. One person says, I'm a smoker but I'm trying to quit. So their identity is still tied to being a smoker. They might be trying to quit, but their identity is still in line with being a smoker. Another person who's probably a lot more likely to succeed in their quitting will frame it in the manner as, I am not a smoker. I used to be a smoker, but I am no longer a smoker. So their identity has shifted. They're not trying to quit. They now identify as a non-smoker. So this shift makes your actions align more so with your identity. When you consciously change the person that you are and that you view yourself as, then your actions will line up more with that person, that new version of yourself. So this is why it's really important when you are looking at a career change or a job change, you need to relinquish a part of your identity. You need to let go of your old self, let go of a bunch of that old identity that's tied to your old job, your old career, and embrace your new identity. Embrace the new version of yourself that you want to be. The great thing is that you get to choose who that is. You can consciously come up with a vision in your mind of the person that you want to become, and you can create that as your new identity and then have your actions align with that new identity of yourself. And a person can do this anytime. They can change their identity at any time. And as long as they're consistently trying to work on visualizing themselves in this new version and consciously creating this new identity, then they can change anything about them. This will make it a lot easier to change careers if you're looking to do that. It's a lot easier to say, I am becoming a world-class whatever your new identity is. I am becoming an amazing so and so, whatever that is. I'm becoming an amazing photographer. I used to be in sales. I'm becoming an amazing photographer now. I am on my way to becoming a world-class pianist. I don't know, just whatever identity you want to shape, that is up to you. And you can do that. And that's the power of creating an identity consciously in your own mind of who you want to be.